Good morning, and what a windy morning it is. If you take away the wind, it's actually a really nice kind of early winter day to be out, but man, it's savage. It's like 20 miles an hour, and out in these exposed fields it really does feel like it. So I'm pike fishing, as you'll know, and I've come to a stretch that I don't normally come to. I've fished it once before. I'll call it the motorway stretch. The noise in the background kind of gives it away. And as always in my pike videos, if you do know where it is, feel free to keep it to yourselves and not put it in the comments. Yeah, just to avoid areas getting overfished and potentially pike becoming deep hooked and whatnot. So yeah, we'll just leave it out for now. I've already got one rod out. What I'm doing today is I'm going to do something a little bit different on each rod. That one's got braid on instead of mono. I'll show you in a little bit more detail later. And then on my other rod, I'm going to do something slightly different with the rig. I'll set it up and then I'll show you. Here's my second rod. The thing I'm doing different on this one is I'm only using a single treble and a slightly smaller dead bait. Not too much smaller, but smaller nonetheless. Normally I take a bluey and cut the head and about maybe an inch or so of body off. But this time I've taken that big bluey and cut it in half. So it's still a relatively decent sized bait. But yeah, that single treble, it's just got me thinking, do we need to use two trebles all the time? I've actually done a bit of fishing abroad when I was a teenager. On every family holiday, my dad and I would go out game fishing and that. And even when they're after like sharks and sailfish and things, they still only use one hook most of the time. One time we were slow trolling live baits for sailfish. We didn't catch, by the way. My dad got a decent tuna. And even then they were using one treble on a wire trace, just one, for a sailfish. Massive 100+ pound fish. So do we really need to use two trebles for pike? I don't know. I do a lot, I'm guilty of it, but we'll just try it. I don't deep hook many fish. I think any pike angler who says they've never deep hooked a fish is lying. It's been a good couple of years since I have, to be honest, which is great. But yeah, do we need two trebles? Who knows? Slightly smaller bait in a single treble, and let's see how that goes. It would also mean I'm using less gear, and if I do snap off, I'm losing less gear. So yeah, all good, if it works. That's both the rods out and me sat down happy. Both fished a little bit further out, just over the shelf, and fairly deep drops on both of them, good firm drops. One's just out in kind of open water, one's just in front of a fallen tree over here. Well, it's not fallen, it's just kind of growing out into the river, so real good pikey kind of area. And yeah, thought I'd take a moment just to welcome anyone new to the channel. I generally put out videos most Sunday mornings, and it's free to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything and means a lot to me. So if you do enjoy the video, hit that button and there will be more coming. And yeah, just thank you to everyone who has subscribed. I get the same people commenting every week. Gave you a few shout outs in one of my previous videos, and I appreciate you all. It's coming up to Christmas now, it's winter. It is a bit of a drag of a season for a lot of people who either don't like fishing in winter or can't fish in winter. A lot of you do comment that you struggle to fish in the winter time. It's too cold, it's too muddy, and I understand that. It can be difficult for some of you, so if I can bring a little bit of a fishing fix to you, then yeah, I will do that. But yeah, really happy to be out today. If it wasn't for this wind, it would be a fantastic day to be out, but you know, the only thing that really affects is the audio. It doesn't affect me at all. I'm happy to be sat here in it. Right, fingers crossed we get a pike, because never caught one from this side of the stretch. It'd be nice to see what's down here. So an hour in, and other than the cormorant going through, nothing's happened. So I'm going to wind in, cut the head off my mackerel, poke some holes in my bluey and put them back out. Maybe slightly different areas, explore it a bit and give this spot perhaps another hour. That was a beat. I think it's just a wind though. Nothing in the first spot, so let's get on the move. Well, I've wound in for a recast. I've just snuck ahead of myself with an old bait, chopped it into a few chunks. Just gonna chuck them into a swim that I'm planning on fishing about an hour or so's time. With a bit of luck, by the time I'm back, if there are any pike in the area, they'll be up for it, and yeah, I'll know where to cast as well. Finally! How am I going to get down there? Well, one in the net. My first one, dead baited with braid, and that took a mackerel, actually chucked out in the current a bit. So yeah, brilliant. I'm sat here at home editing this video, and unfortunately what you're about to see is me turning the camera off when I thought I was turning it on. So I I don't actually have any footage of the pike on the mat. It's a fish of about 8 to 9 pound. I've got a few pictures of it, so not quite a double. And the only real comments I made was that it's great to catch fish from a new stretch, you know, log that away in the mental bank for another day. And also my first fish on braid on a dead bait, and that really felt great during the fight, and on the strike I felt it connect really well, so proper happy with that. And what we'll do now is we'll jump ahead to me putting the fish back and crack on with the rest of the day. Gonna have to be a net job to put this, well, nearly double back. Get that flattened down. There you go, mate. Impressive fish. Great colours. Do like a good pike. Come on, I'll give you some space. There you go. That's the way. Nice. Lovely. Straight back down the shelf. Rig time, and I know there's going to be lots of wind noise. Again, I apologise, can't do anything about it, but it seems to have got the fish moving anyway, at least one of them. So the braid I went with is Power Pro in 20 kilos. Now I was doing a lot of research on what braid to go with, and it seemed all roads led to Power Pro. Like I was on some pike forums, asked a few people on Instagram and that, and it just all said Power Pro. Some said 30, some said like 40 or 50 pound. I've gone with, well, I could find 20 kilos, which is 44 pounds in the green colour. And yeah, so far it seems really good. It's rock solid, ties really well, casts really well. And for a braid, sometimes they can be a bit too loose, you know, like a carp hook link material, a bit too supple, and that can lead to tangles. But this seems a little bit sort of stiffer for a braid, if that makes sense. Now the rig, nothing new here. It's my normal sliding ledger rig. So I make a ledger boom there with carp fishing chod rig material, and I realised I didn't explain why I do that in my last pike video, but the theory is this can lay on the bottom or even plug into the bottom a bit and leave the large run ring exposed above there, so the line can pull through it really easily. Also, the fish doesn't have to pull the line through the swivel for those first few inches. This can pivot, and maybe in the early stages of a take, when a fish first grabs a bait, that'll lead to a more confident take, who knows. But anyway, seems to work really well, avoids tangles with all the sleeves on there. And yeah, definitely when I get a take, always really positive and generally pull the line out the clip eventually. Little bead there that covers the swivel. It's got a sleeve on the back there as well, so the swivel can sit on top of that and cast really easily. 18 inches of really strong wire, a little bit kinked that one, but it'll do fine. 30 pound wire and a couple of size 4 trebles with red sleeves on. And I don't know if it makes much of a difference, but I always say when I wind in, I can see my bait really easily because of those red sleeves. So I'm sure it's the same for the pike. Anyway, caught that fish on a mackerel. I've got a nice packet of pollen. I'll give one of those a go now. That'll pop up just a little bit out there. And yeah, I think back in the current could be a good spot since it's caught me one. The rods down the edge have done nothing. Well, as it happened, that pollen was a sinker, but still looked good and smelled good. Well, it didn't smell good at all, but maybe to a pike it does. Another move to probably my third and final swim. I gave it another 45 minutes here after that fish. Nothing happened, so we'll settle in that swim that I've been putting a few chunks of fish in throughout the day. Yeah, could be one waiting. Weather's coming in a bit now. Probably got maybe 1 more hour, and as you can see, the rain's come now, so it's windy and it's wet. Proper Dango's outdoors conditions. My brolly, it's tipping over. Right, 1 more recast, and then yeah, I've done all I can. I'll catch another fish, I'll probably call it a day. By the looks of it, only really got another half an hour or so, and I thought I'd just come out here and sum up the session a bit. And it's really good to find another stretch that I can add to my my mental list of pike spots that I can hop between, and really nice fish because yeah, I've had quite a good average so far this year, and that's a good omen, I think. You know, I really want a big fish this winter. Ideally 20 pound plus, but we'll have to wait and see what comes along. You know, a nice big double would also be lovely. And pretty funny today to catch that big fish out in the current. Never really done that before, always been a close in kind of guy, but I think I might try it more often, especially on stretches like this which are deep and slow flowing. There's probably not a lot of difference to the fish whether it's in the middle or down the edge, so yeah, I'll have to keep trying that one. Shame I didn't catch a fish on a single treble, but good that I caught one on the braid. You know, I'm slowly improving my pike gear. Soon I'll have braid on both my rods, and I might even stretch to things like a rubberized net, that kind of thing, to really specialise in my pike fishing and get better at it with better equipment. But anyway, I'll sign off now because it is going to be too dark. If I catch a fish, obviously you'll see it. I've got my head torch and a light with me, but I don't think I'll be too much longer. Anyway, yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. A little bit of a shorter video, but yeah, I had a really good time. I'll see you next time.